What are your most unhinged character ideas? A character who believes they are the result of a clone spell gone horribly wrong. They're convinced the original is out there hunting them down. In reality, it's just head trauma, and for laughs, a twin who's desperately trying to find them to bring them home. An artificer bard who lives to explain the minutiae of his spells, devices, or world lore. He enthusiastically lectures anyone who will listen, especially children, with boundless charisma. His name? William Nye, the artificer bard guy. Also, minutiae means the small, precise, or trivial details of something. Just helping y'all out. A halfling wizard from a one-shot who had absolutely no attention span. Why? Because a fae asked for their attention, and they said yes. Not a good idea, man. A hexblade armorer in a level 6 campaign with this backstory. They made a deal with a sentient weapon to learn how to craft sentient armor. The price? Their memories. Now they're stuck as a third wheel because the weapon and armor are eager adventurers, while they just want to avoid danger. Their intro scene? Fully armored and weapons swinging until the battle ends. The armor drops and they reveal themselves as a scrawny, terrified kidnap victim, begging the party to protect them from their own gear. A dwarf light cleric of uncertain gender and age backup character. They may or may not be using their real name and carry multiple holy symbols, invoking whichever deity seems most useful at the moment. Their motto? The gods are real, so why not show homage to all of them? The trick is avoiding offending any of them. Big on lies of omission, they never tell the full truth. It's a fun idea, though playing them might get a little messy. I just love this one already. Bob, an average-looking dude in flowing robes and sandals who roams the world having a grand old time. He loves drinking, storytelling, and riddles. If you impress him with a story or a riddle, he'll gift you an ever-smoking pipe like his. Bob is actually the avatar of the god of existence, with meta-knowledge about the setting. Every time the party enters a tavern, there's a 50-50 chance he's there, ready to point them in the right direction. Brainface, a shard mind psion. As a collection of sentient psychic crystals, Brainface manifests as a floating D8. Instead of HP, Brainface has attention. If their attention drops to 0, they don't die, they just kind of wander off in search of something more interesting. A utilitarian necromancer who sees undead minions as an untapped socioeconomic resource. He argues for using them as cheap labor or disposable soldiers at every opportunity. Why waste a perfectly good corpse when it can till fields or dig mines? He has an unfortunate tendency to summon undead for menial tasks at wildly inappropriate times as well. For instance, animating someone's recently deceased grandmother to carry his books. He calls people snowflakes when they complain. A tiefling in a world without tieflings. Instead, this character was created by wizards experimenting with artificial Tanarooks. Unlike the Tanarooks who retain memories of their past lives as orcs, this tiefling has the memories of a low-ranking devil who fought in the Blood War. With the infernal constitution feat, they have no qualms about eating unconventional food like raw giant scorpions when supplies are scarce. An eccentric inventor whose wife's soul was dragged into the far realm. To save her, he built an exosuit integrated into a diving suit that worked as both a life support machine and a way to protect his own soul into the far realm. He almost succeeded. Their souls began to merge before the arcane pressure was too much and sent him back to his body. Tragically, the suit couldn't sustain his life during the separation, and he died inside of it. His consciousness was confined to the suit's software. Unbeknownst to him, his wife returned with him. Using the remnants of her soul, she bound their spirits to the diving suit. His radiant magic and starry-form druid feature manifest as her ghostly energy, briefly taking over the suit and appearing as her celestial form. Mechanically, it's a Warforged Artificer Druid, Artillerist Circle of the Stars. Flavorfully, a married couple unaware they're still together. A biblically accurate angel, an Aasimar cleric composed of a swirling mass of eyes and wings communicating only via the message cantrip and interacting through Mage Hand. That would be ugly and terrifying. A divine soul sorcerer built around spell combos. Their highlight? Using True Strike, a spell often dismissed as useless, to set up Guiding Bolt and inflict wound critical hits. It's hilarious and effective, purely because True Strike is save-free, resource-free, and a reliable source of ranged advantage. Laika, a long-tooth shifter multi-classing lunar sorcerer and paladin of the Moonweaver. Not an unhinged build per se, but fully committed to a Moondog theme. A Water Genasi paladin who swore off water as a child because they preferred ale. Also, a Grung artificer whose life goal is to build a jetpack, which was inspired by their tribe leader who once jumped onto them in battle. A former adventurer betrayed by her group during a dungeon crawl, left for dead. She accepted an old god's offer to carry his heart in exchange for survival and revenge. She's now loyal to her new party, though not entirely sane. And yes, this character was heavily inspired by Eternal Darkness. A Scourge Aasimar wizard in his 80s. His backstory? He was an ex-CIA operative who spent his life committing war crimes and destabilizing nations. Now senile, he constantly reminisces about funding death squads before falling asleep mid-sentence. An unprepared character who evolved from a creepy voice into a chaotic masterpiece. A highly intelligent artificer with zero self-awareness. He looks like a hobo, hoards everything he can, and scams new players by renaming random junk into fake magic items. Highlights include selling an orb of slope detection, which is a ball, and dealing 24 damage, 3d8, at level 1. Everyone, including the DM, now both loves and fears him. A cursed professional wrestler. A human wrestler who performed under the stage name The Dragonborn. Complete with a costume, was cursed by an ancient copper dragon after the dragon discovered the deception. The curse prevents him from removing the costume until he accomplishes a feat that impresses the dragon. When he rages, parts of the costume, mask, claws, tail, transform into actual dragon features. Now, to mess with him, the DM plans to make him think the curse is lifted, only for a new mask to appear underneath the old one, with a different dragon color each time. Sally, a male half-orc barbarian raised by Kender. He thinks he's super sneaky despite being 7 feet tall and 300 pounds of pure muscle. He doesn't understand personal property and just, casually takes things, often hiding behind hilariously inadequate cover like skinny trees. You can't see me. Most people humor him because he's massive. But if questioned too deeply, he flies into a literal rage, beats someone or multiple someones half to death, and forgets what the conversation was about. Why can you see me? Stop bullying me! Warforged Clockwork Soul Sorcerer, because, of course, a Warforged has a clockwork soul. I also did a Kenku who could only speak in lines from The Princess Bride. That was kind of fun, but it was also really annoying because I couldn't participate in a lot of roleplay. I am currently playing a fairy celestial warlock who talks about how she exists to help people and has been taught by the unicorn who gave her powers how to be a good person. And then, in battle, she goes completely bloodthirsty and calls herself a goddess of war, etc. A Kenku Necromancer, and the only thing he knows how to say is, "Nevermore! Nevermore!" Also, only makes low-toned bell sounds when he hits someone with an attack. Oh my god. I did play a high elf bard who was lawful evil, and his only goal in life was to fuck Shar, Mistress of the Night. That's a pretty lofty goal. One side quest I gave was a nobleman whose daughter was kidnapped by kobolds. Now, when the group found her, she was in fact a kobold as well. Explanation? Moving on, we don't need to talk about it. Currently using an NPC named Todd, who is a half-elf in his teen years. He has turned up in various places doing the most mundane tasks, but when the party asks if he remembers them, he shakes his head and calls them crazy. So far, there's like 7 Todds. Todd A, Todd B, Todd C, Todd 4. I played a bug-like race called the Elen in my friend's campaign. His name? Ratolu. And he was obsessed with flesh because, well, he didn't have any. So, he would cut the faces off the corpses of the enemies that he slew, Hannibal style. Eventually, this escalated to him flaying the faces of living enemies to inflict as much pain as possible. He was a life cleric and followed a god named Brog. My DM told me to change my alignment to lawful evil. The character I'm playing now, Thorain Nova Braziermind, is a scribe's wizard who is an obsessive collector. He doesn't mind too much where he gets the supply, he just wants it. He has already plucked 7 feathers off of our Kenku, harvested a random bit of moss off a wall, pulled 7 fireflies out of someone's rectum, and this all happened halfway through the first session. I cannot wait to find a town and watch the comedic horror on my friends' faces when I harvest every plant I see, toad I encounter, etc. I want a character that thinks he's been cursed into whatever race, and he's off on a quest to take out the evil cabal of wizards that transformed him. In reality, he has a brain tumor that's causing all sorts of hallucinations, like the magical powers he thinks he has, but the people he's hunting down and killing are the people trying to help him. So he accidentally joins a group of murder hobos who are using his condition for their own benefit in a memento-like way, making him kill the wrong people. The more I write that out, I realize that group is the big bad evil guy and saving or killing the guy is the quest. Awesome! I have my first homebrew campaign! Hey everybody, Brian Von VA checking in after the vid. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe, ring that bell, and let us know in the comments below what is your most unhinged character idea. Let us know, and the crazier the better. Of course, if you want to support the channel, you can do so by joining our membership. You get early access to videos and our eternal gratitude. We love you all. Please be safe out there, and we'll see you next time. Toodaloo.